Very busy on some of those roads around Pems today, especially in and out of Tenby. Also down at the RAF in Milford Haven, very busy down there today due to some temporary traffic lights. Also a little bit busy as well on the A4139 around Upper Lamphey and St Michael's Road, just in Pembroke. And also a few long delays as well, just by Manor Beer by the turn-off there, also on the A4139. So a few issues around the county. Take your time whilst travelling. Any issues where you are, make sure you do get in touch with us. Now, we support Dementia Action Awareness Week, and it's all about taking action to help support those people with us, but also being able to identify when maybe someone close to you does have dementia. I'm now joined by Charlie Duhig from the Admiral Nurses here this morning, who are great advocates and support Dementia Action Awareness Week. Great to have you on with us this morning, Charlie.
Hi, Toby. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Oh, fantastic. Charlie, first up, tell us a little bit about the Admiral Nurses. What are you?
So we are all registered nurses, and we work with the charity Dementia UK, and we specialise in dementia, but we work slightly different from maybe other dementia nurses in that our role is to support carers and families of people living with a condition, as opposed to the person themselves. So we work kind of in a very relationship focused way, really, to understand that family and that carer's needs and how to support them.
Wonderful. And how might you engage with these people? How does that sort of process happen?
So generally the process is that we have referrals from professionals. So it could be a health and social care professional, could be someone in the third sector, sometimes the Alzheimer's Society, could be a GP, social worker will refer to us. And then once we've made contact with that carer, we do an assessment to see what their needs are, looking at lots and lots of different areas. And we come up with a bit of a care plan. So we'll work through that care plan with that carer. And then when we've finished our involvement and we think that we've kind of met all the needs as best as we can, then we usually refer back to the Alzheimer's Society, to the dementia advisors, and we work really closely with them.
Oh, wonderful. So there's a lot of support internally then that goes on really throughout this process.
Yeah, we work really closely, particularly in Pembrokeshire, with all the different organisations, because I think it's so important that, not one professional is able to meet everyone's needs. And that's something that certainly, in Pembrokeshire works really well with Marie Curie nurses. So we have Angela, the dementia advisors, and we're able to offer lots of different support. So all those different professionals are able to offer something different. As Admiral nurses, a lot of the work we do is around support, emotional support, education for those carers. And there are specific interventions that we can provide to help carers sort of develop coping strategies and to kind of understand the person that they're caring for, so that they can meet their needs better, and I guess feel more resilient to be able to do that.
So very reassuring knowing that, that there's sort of really good cohesive work going on, because you often hear in sort of scenarios, there's no communication going on, no one's, sure what's what, you're having to repeat yourself a lot, and it can be quite a minefield sometimes, but especially, when someone is going through dementia and, you've got a million and one things going through your head, hopefully it really does just help take some of that burden.
It does. And there's other things, strategies that carers can use. So things like the This Is Me documentation, which is something that the Alzheimer's Society developed. That's something that we kind of advocate quite a lot, and it contains lots of information about that person. So say, for example, they went to hospital, the hospital staff then would have a huge amount of information about that person, how their normal presentation is, what their likes and dislikes are. And it just helps, I guess, with the information sharing and knowing about the person really individually.
Oh, brilliant. That's so good. So to talk us through a day in the life of an Admiral nurse, what might they go through?
So I'm the clinical lead, so I manage the Admiral nurses across the health board, but generally the Admiral nurses would, on a Monday morning, for example, we have a bit of a catch-up just to see how things are going. We're all spread all over the health board, so it's a really nice opportunity to just have a check-in and see how everyone is. And then we might do some admin, so checking the referrals, maybe doing some triages and some telephone calls for new referrals that have come through, and then some visits. So we'll have our new assessments that we've got got booked in, but then there's also people who've been on the caseload for quite a long period of time, maybe needing a review. Lots and lots of collaborative working, like you said, so lots of linking in with other professionals, doing joint visits, and making referrals to other services where needed. So generally we're sort of out and about, spread all over the place.
I can imagine it's very busy. I can imagine those Monday mornings having a catch up. There's lots to discuss.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
O.I. Davis has been in touch. He says all of you are doing great. I can imagine there's a huge amount of support for the Admiral nurses because of the great work that you do to help so many people in what can be a very difficult circumstance.
Yeah, it is. It's really positive to hear, all the great feedback that we get from the carers that have been involved with our service, but also, the professionals. We're fairly new service, so actually we've only been around for the last 2 years, and we've really kind of been able to sort of bed in now, I think, with a lot of the other teams and build those really great relationships. So it's really positive. Yeah.
We hear it more often than not, especially I think with people suffering from dementia, is just how much workload, how much emotional pressure, how much the people around them are going through. And I think we've heard that so many times over the years, especially with Dementia Action Week. We hear from so many different people, and I think it's wonderful that although you are 2 years old, that you are now in existence, because that support network it's vitally important, isn't it?
It is. And a lot of our role is actually kind of making other health professionals and social care professionals aware of carers' needs, because they are quite unique. And as the condition progresses, the roles change very much. So you may have had a mother and daughter or a husband and wife, but actually the dynamic of that relationship as the dementia progresses can change hugely. And what we find is that, quite often when we get involved with carers, they don't always recognise their own needs, and they always put the needs of the person that they're looking after before their own. And what we say to people is, you use the analogy of, if you're in an aeroplane, you put your own oxygen mask on first, because if you go down, the whole system falls apart. And so it's really nice to be able to kind of say to carers, you are important, and you do need to kind of recognise your own needs and make sure that you are getting the support that you need.
Yeah, it's a fantastic service you provide. Lisa Marie Cassell's been in touch. Great admiration for all of your hard work in care, and especially in dementia. Thanks there, Lisa. That's a lovely message. Very rewarding as well, isn't it? Sort of being able to offer this support, and, to be able to help those people in need, because it can be an incredible struggle, but sometimes that's all that the carers need, is just a little bit of respite, or just a little bit of reassurance from an Admiral nurse to go, no, you are doing a great job, and, stay strong for them. It must be incredibly rewarding, Charlie.
It is. It's a lovely job. Every day is different. Every carer that you meet is different. Every family is different. And it's quite a unique role. You get to be quite creative about the support that you offer in a way that sometimes other roles don't kind of allow. We get to be involved in different events. So, for example, on Wednesday, I was down in the Torch with Cherry doing a dementia screening, and it's really lovely to be able to kind of raise the profile, I think, of Admiral nursing and, the needs of carers, because, without them, I think the entire system would fall apart. If we're not looking after them, we would be in serious trouble, I think.
Oh, yes, we certainly would be. So how might someone be an Admiral nurse? How does that work? Are they sort of cherry picked from other different health sectors? Is it something someone can work towards? How does that sort of process work, Charlie?
So we, because we're specialist nurses, we tend to be sort of more senior nurses as opposed to someone who's sort of relatively newly qualified. You have to be a registered nurse. When Admiral Nursing was set up originally, mainly it was mental health nurses, but actually as time's gone on, most of our team are general nurses, so they're adult nurses. There are also some learning disability nurses now who have come into Dementia UK and working in other areas. And it's really nice because, I guess, having people from different backgrounds, we all have different experiences, we can bring different knowledge to the team, and it's really kind of benefited us. So there is some information on the Dementia UK website. So if someone is a registered nurse and they're interested in becoming an Admiral nurse, there's a pre-Admiral nursing learning module that people can complete, and that gives you a bit of an idea about the role and how we work and the kind of ethos behind it. So I would suggest, people go and have a look at that. There are different roles coming up, so I think there are 9 of us now across Hywel Dda. We're quite a big team in terms of Admiral nursing. I think there's 400, maybe 420 across the UK. So we're increasing numbers, but we would always like more.
Most certainly. Yeah, make sure you check out the details online now at dementiauk.org. There is plenty of information there on the website. You do such a wonderful job, Charlie, and please send our regards to all the Admiral nurses that cover the Hywel Dda area, as it's really just so reassuring to know that there is now support for the carers and people supporting people with dementia. I feel over the past sort of couple of years, it's been identified as a bit of an area that needs attention and enhancing. And now for that to happen, I think is true testament to everybody that's involved, from the Alzheimer's Society to Dementia UK and, the grassroots of support and care workers that happens, across Wales and beyond. So very, very humbling news, I think, today. So it's great to hear. And if anyone would like to find out more information, please do head online to dementiauk.org, where you can find out more details of the Admiral nurses right there. Charlie, thanks for joining us here on the show today. Loads of messages coming in. Just another one from the Davis farming family. Well done, Charlie. And indeed, well done to all of the Admiral nurses who do such a wonderful job here in Pembrokeshire. Thank you for all of your messages. And thank you for joining us here on the Daytime Show today.
Thank you. It's lovely. Bye. Thanks.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Charlie, and meeting you. Oh, what an absolute superstar. I love